Okay, what is going on, MegaWhale team? Welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. We're going to do a video on Matic Network today. We're going to be doing a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the short term and the long term and trying to give you guys the best and most accurate prediction of where we think the price is going to be heading in those two timeframes. Before we get stuck into the video, I just want to shout out the Telegram channel. If you want to join VIP, we have a 20% off discount to join VIP for the next 32 hours. We only got 5 slots left to give away that 20% discount. So if you're interested in daily trade signals, exclusive market updates, direct message communication with myself, hit the link in the description to the Telegram and you can contact me through there. All right, with that being said, we'll get stuck right in. So Matic Network is honestly, Matic is a great platform. We're not going to go into the fundamentals. I have a lot to say about the fundamentals, but I don't want to go into it today. I'd rather do an analysis on the chart and the technicals. That's kind of what we're here for on this channel. So first and foremost, what I can identify on this chart and what I pointed out to my VIP channel a few days ago, and we got a nice entry on it, was this descending trend line we've had from that top of basically the peak, the all-time high, the 27th of December on that chart for Matic. And we can draw this trend line all the way down, and we have noticed we've had a few retests on this trend line, more specifically in the last few days over here, and of course at that high on the 10th of February. Since then we have broken above that trend line, and that was kind of our entry signal. That break above that trend line was the entry signal for Matic, and we got in on that coin, we got in on Matic during that break. So the question is, is now a good time to buy Matic, and realistically, how high can Matic go? So first and foremost, like always guys, we're going to input our long-term horizontal supports, our support zones, and our major resistances. So first and foremost, we're going to start with our supports. We can draw our support lines in. We do have a major support line. I think it's from the bottom over here somewhere. Let me just try to find it. I had this chart up earlier today, but I removed everything from the chart. So it is along the lines of this here. We had this major long-term support along the lines of over here. I can't exactly remember what it was. It was somewhere around here, providing this uptrending support. But more importantly, what I did want to point out with this zone, more importantly than that trend line there, is this support zone we have underneath the current price, which is sitting around $1.33 to $1.40. This is a major support zone for Matic chart, and we can see we've actually bounced in this zone a few times. We can see numerous occasions in the last 4 weeks we've had retests upon retest upon retest in this zone, indicating that this zone is in fact a very strong line of support. And if we had to lose this zone, we can expect the prices to basically plummet if we lost this zone. All right. For now, we expect consolidation, and as long as we remain above that, we can definitely continue upwards in this direction. So the question is, where do we think the price will be headed now that we have reclaimed that support, now we have reclaimed that downward trend line? Where will the price go? So we're going to input our resistances next. So we're just going to use that VPVR to kind of give a rough little bit of assistance on where we think these support and resistance zones are. And of course, we have that $1.62 zone. The POC is kind of under us, and we can see that POC is kind of on us right now. So we're going to put a little support zone on there. Resistances moving upwards from there. We have resistances at $1.88. We can see that on the chart. And moving upwards from there, we'll start to get a little thin on the chart data here, but we can assume that, obviously this peak, around this peak here, we had that next level of resistance, which would be this point here at $2.22. And of course, moving upwards from here, we basically have no charting data, but obviously we can assume that is the next resistance at $2.70. So looking at the Matic chart, what do I think is going to happen? Based off the information I've given you already, we expect a move upwards to this range here. And of course, we can see some sort of neckline forming. We could even move this one up a little bit, I think. There we are, that's better. We can see some sort of neckline forming. And if you've done any look into Adam and Eve patterns, this is actually very resemblant of what looks like to be an Adam and Eve pattern forming. And we could possibly see that play out. Obviously, this will be the neckline, this red line. We have our valley number 1, which is generally a V shape, and our valley number 2, which is generally a U shape. That is indicative of a Adam and Eve pattern, guys. Now, Adam and Eve patterns are very strong reversal patterns. The only problem is we're not entirely sure if this is going to be an Adam and Eve pattern until that price travels up to this trend line and meets back up at this trend line. Until then, it's kind of hard to tell if this is going to be Adam and Eve. It does look like it's forming the basis of an Adam and Eve. A few criterias are, first off, we have this neckline, which is very important. Obviously, we've got that formed. Second off, we have that V shape followed by a rounding bottom, which looks like there's possibly a rounding bottom in formation. And thirdly, the depth of the V is greater than the depth of the U, or the semicircle, meaning that the distance from the neckline to the base is greater than the distance from the neckline to the base. So these are kind of characteristics we find on Adam and Eve patterns, and generally Adam and Eve pattern measured moves we can take from the base of the semicircle, and we can apply that measured move up onto here upon that breakout. That would kind of take us up to about $1, basically $2. So we can say basically $2, which is that psychological resistance. Applying that and dragging it down here, about a 30% potential. So guys, if I was looking to enter now, I wouldn't be buying yet, just because we are close to this next resistance zone, which is $1.53. I would wait for the price to break above $1.53. When that occurs, I'll be looking to place an entry for a 30% profit potential, and I put my stop loss underneath this support zone, which is around $1.44. So you're looking at about a 1 to 4 risk reward ratio on Matic right now. It is not amazing, but it's definitely not terrible. And obviously that's just a start. If that occurs, obviously Matic can definitely go higher. So that's our bullish scenario for Matic. Taking a look at the bearish scenario, of course, we can definitely get rejected on this trend line. All right, it's definitely a possibility, and then head downwards from here. Of course, it really just depends on what Bitcoin does. And we're gonna bring up the Bitcoin chart just to show you what's happening here. Is the Bitcoin's kind of in this symmetrical triangle of sorts, and a symmetrical triangle is basically an extended period of consolidation where you have an upper and lower trend line which converge. All right, they're converging, so it's getting narrower as the time goes along, and these are usually neutral patterns, meaning that the directional break is only going to be predictable once the break occurs, meaning that once we break above here, we'll know that we're going to continue upwards. Once we break below here, we'll know we'll continue downwards. The break determines the direction. Until then, we are in a neutral consolidation pattern. It is really, really hard to tell where it's headed. I've done an analysis the other day on what I think is going to happen, and I use a lot of indicators to back up my claims. If you want to go check out that, that's the second to last video we just posted. Back to Matic network. Of course, if Bitcoin falls below that symmetrical triangle, we will head below here. That will be ultimate despair for Matic. We will drop down to very low levels, because obviously Bitcoin will lose that major support, which has kind of been holding for the last 3 months. These long consolidations equal long moves. If we break out, we're gonna have an explosive rally. If we break down, we're gonna have a very, very bloody drop. So that's kind of what we're seeing, and I've got a lot of charts going off right now, so 1 second. There we go. All right, so let's take a look at some of the technicals now that we've talked about the chart and kind of like the formations of the chart. So let's bring up the bull market support band. And of course, we're breaking over a bull market support band on the daily chart, which is always nice to see. Every time that happens, we end up having a little bit of a rally upwards. Great to see. What's really important is a weekly chart for that bull market support band. And what we'll do is chuck it on the weekly. We can see that that bull market support band is still kind of acting as a lot of resistance for these long wicks, and we're still underneath that. Obviously, we have a very, very bullish candle here on the weekly, that bullish engulfing candle, clearing that previous red, which is really nice to see. And last time we saw something like that on Matic was around here. Obviously, that bullish engulfing candle, not a large one, but a significant bullish engulfing candle, which sent us up to significant highs. So Matic was looking optimistic. Moving forward, we got our moving average. Let's adjust this. Let's go 200, and we'll go down to the daily. So the 200-day moving average, sorry, my throat's a little bit dry, is acting as a base of support, and meaning that we've had a base of support basically this entire run until we lost that base of support here. And this is a very big warning sign, because it indicated, we broke this base of support, we broke this moving average. We're probably going to retest it and break it again. We saw that exact thing happen. So what we're seeing now is we're seeing the price is kind of underneath that still, and we really, really like to see the price break above that, find support, and that will kind of confirm that, quote unquote, the bottom is in for Matic. until then, the entries for the longer term perspective are not as clear. So keeping an eye on that 200-day moving average is really important. Moving on, we're going to go to let's go RSI. So RSI, we're going to start on the 3-day chart. And of course, RSI is looking good. Just as the price has bottomed out, we've seen that RSI kind of bottom out over here. And not only has it bottomed out, it's retested this area here, which is in fact our July bottom, guys. So we retested that July bottom, and I wish I saw this sooner. I didn't see this sooner, but this looks really good. Of course, we're still in Matic, so it doesn't matter. But this is a good piece of information here, and would have been able to easily predict, especially on that third bounce here, that this price was going to continue upwards from here. So that's looking good. That's looking strong on the 3-day. Let's take a look at our Ichimoku Cloud. I really like the Ichimoku Cloud, and we're going to go to the weekly to start off with. Of course, acting as a lot of support, we're looking quite bullish in that regard. Obviously, underneath our base and conversion line, we would like to get above that like we saw here on the 22nd of October. But it doesn't mean the price can continue upwards until that happens. So looking at the daily, we've obviously had a buy signal, breaking the conversion line, breaking the baseline, volume, our momentum's bounced off this support range here too, and our trend line is broken underneath the cloud, so it's hard to tell how high we will push. Like I said, $2 will break us through the clouds here. Would be incredibly bullish and very strong buy signal. Until then, it's looking optimistic and it's looking good. So guys, that's about it for today on the video for Matic. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave them down below. We've given you some entry and exit zones. We've given you our targets of where we think is going to happen. We've given you a few short-term predictions of our Adam and Eve formation. And we've shown you our major support zones. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Remember, you can contact me on Twitter for any inquiries, or on Telegram for our VIP channel. And if you like the content, remember to click that like and subscribe button, and we'll catch you in the next one.